Hey guys, how the hell are you? How are the levels? Is the guitar too loud? Is it too soft compared to my voice? Is my voice needing to come up? Give me some feedback. Voice check versus guitar volume check. Tell me what's up, guys. How the hell are you? How's the volume? How are the levels? Voice good, guitar low? Sounds good, sounds good. Everything is fine. Hey guys, how the hell are you? I kind of want the guitar low because it's not exactly facing into the mic right now. The Dover is going into my Vader cab, which is up here, and the mic is actually right here facing me, so I don't exactly want it super loud. A few people are saying more guitar. I'll bump it up a little bit. So sorry if the tone doesn't exactly sound all that great, but it is what it is. I'm just kind of shooting from the hip a little bit as far as just, I don't know. I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants here. I'm not really making this super refined or anything. Yeah, room sound. So, how's it now? Is it better? Is it good? I wish I could play Forbidden, dude. Funny story. Okay, first of all, hey everybody, this is an iFAQ, so I'm gonna take about maybe like 10 questions or so, but let's kind of have them slow roll in. So, the first question from Morgan Hicks is, can you play Forbidden through the eyes of glass? No, I actually can't play any Forbidden. But what I can do is I can tell you a cool Forbidden story, because for those of you guys that don't know, for about maybe 10 years, I lived in the San Francisco and Oakland Bay area, for the most part in the Antioch area, which is out far, far East Bay, a little bit elsewhere in the Bay Area though. But just through living there, just every so often I would just kind of turn around and, oh shit, here's this dude that was on this record I love. Oh shit, here's that dude that was on that record I love. And there was all these Bay Area thrash guys all over the place. Like Forbidden, for instance, I ran into the bass player Matt at work one time, and he apparently has he's like a funeral director or something like that in Brentwood, California. So like you would occasionally see him around Brentwood in like the Trader Joe's or whatever, or occasionally at my work. I used to work at the DSW out there. Mm. And, he would just occasionally pop in. But here's my forbidden story. So I come to know Craig through, I was following him on Facebook, and at one point, my wife and I were trying to decide what to do for our wedding anniversary coming up. And all of a sudden, Craig posts this thing like, hey, I've got these extra tickets for the Niners game coming up this weekend. First call, first serve, and I'll sell them to you at a good price or whatever. And I was like, hey, hon, why don't we go to a football game? So we ended up getting in contact with Craig, and we go out to Levi's Stadium, and we hang out with them and his Tailgate Crew. I'm probably going to butcher the name. I want to say that they're like the third rail something. If you guys are ever in the Bay Area and go to a Niners game, try to find that tailgate spot, because Jesus Christ, the food was incredible. But anyways, through just buying some 49er tickets, I get to talk to one of my thrash metal heroes, and, talking about, his time when he was in Death. For those of you guys that don't know, Craig from Forbidden did play in Death for about like a month and a half, and it was really, really cool. There's videos of it online. You should go check it out. But yeah, get to talk guitar with him, get to talk metal with him a little bit. And then ever since then, we ever so often run into each other at maybe like a concert or something. When I lived in the Bay Area, or now whenever we would go to the NAMM show, it would just be like, oh, hey, Craig's here. Hey, Craig, how you doing? So yeah, that's my Forbidden story. So I can't play Forbidden, but I will give you an anecdote. Let's see. Favorite Gojira album. I'm going to go with the most recent one, Magma. And I know that sounds so like, oh, that's just the easy way out, or, oh, you're not a true fan if you don't like this album versus that one. But I'm a big fan of musical maturity, and I'm a big fan of bands taking it to a certain place without fear and without necessarily. All right, let me state this again. I'm a fan of bands experimenting and maturing musically, but without alienating their core sound. And I think ultimately that's what we've arrived at with Gojira. Every single time that they put out a new album, it's that perfect point in their career and in their songwriting and in their music that, yeah, okay, we're just expanding upon the sound a little teeny tiny bit more, but we're still fucking Gojira. And that's the reason why I love Magma so much. There's so much good music on that record. I would say that there's not a single bad song on that whole record. And granted, the brothers went through a really, really hard time leading up to that record. And I think it kind of shows in the sort of underlying melancholy and anger that you hear a lot of on that record. And that lent itself to some truly inspired and mature music from those guys. So I love the most recent one. So, hey, Justice, how's it going, man? All right, let's see. Let's take a look at some comments first here real quick before we get back to some questions. Let's see. East Bay in the house. Yeah, I liked being in the East Bay, but at the same time, I'm much happier here in Austin. Let's see. Greetings from France. Hey, guys, how you doing? Great way to start my Saturday. Hey, I appreciate that. I kind of am on a staycation, so I always intended on doing a live stream today, but also I need a little bit of therapy right now because, I'm all right. We're going to pause for a second and I'm going to fucking rant here because I've been on staycation now since about Wednesday. And I've been recording like fucking crazy. I got the Dover on Tuesday, hooked that up. I'm loving how that's sounding. And to the point where like everything that I had already recorded got re-recorded using the Dover. I'm feeling very, very inspired. I've got some great music coming out. And then yesterday, Pro Tools finally said, you know what, Arnold? Fuck you. We're not working together anymore. Pro Tools has been giving me so much shit the past God knows how long. And it's usually the kind of thing where no problem. I turn off the computer, wait 5 minutes, turn it back on, and all of a sudden it's fine. I've got like a little bit of like a crazy distortion and latency issue that happens. Yesterday, it just would not fucking go away. I was trying to do a video on Derek's Agile that he sent me for review so that I could hopefully get a new unbiased gear review video up for you guys. And right in the middle of that, it just kind of crapped out and would not right itself. So tried signing up for the new subscription and wasn't really working. Come to find out it's past business hours, so I probably won't even be able to use my Pro Tools until Monday. So now I'm watching tons of videos on Logic Pro X to try to get acclimated to it, to try to finally switch. That being said, I'm probably going to have to scrap everything I've done up to this point and literally re-record of the century. Like, man, if I had one of those jocks here from my high school, I would fucking go ape shit on him, man. I would just take out all my aggression. I would love like a speed bag here or something, or a fucking, one of those Tybo things that I could just fucking wail on, because I'm at that level of pissed offedness. So I'm seeing a few familiar names in the chat. Hey, Professor Chaos. Hey, Fat Philosopher. How you guys doing? I see Matt Zilm. Hey, speaking of Rockford, Matt Zilm is in the house in the chat. This dude was fucking awesome. He's a badass guitar player. I used to talk to him all the time at one of my first jobs ever at Media Play in Rockford, Illinois. A lot of metal talk and guitar talk going back and forth with this dude. So, let's see. Talking about the gig I don't remember the house. I'll be honest with you, Matt. I remember that one place, but I don't remember the house, whatever that is. I apologize. It's probably in here somewhere, but I probably repressed it. Let's see. All right, let's get back into some of the questions here. There's a few good questions that a lot of you guys have been asking. What is your favorite travel guitar? I'll be honest, I don't really travel extensively enough that I feel like I need to bring a guitar with me. If I was to travel with a guitar, I would probably go with something that's very, very compact and maybe even headless. But usually when I go travel, this is going to sound weird as a guitar player, but I usually do not bring a guitar with me because I kind of feel like I need a hard reset when I travel for the most part. Like, I'll still go into the occasional guitar store here or there. Like, when I'm in Brazil, I go up and down Teodoro Sampaio and I play a ton of different guitars and pedals and amps and stuff like that. Try to stay close to the Brazilian-made stuff because I always want to see what they have to offer. When I go to Europe, we occasionally pop into, like, a music store, but usually I don't really find a whole hell of a lot in the places that I've gone. But yeah, I usually do not travel with a guitar because I just kind of like resetting everything. And then when I come back from vacation, then I just kind of dive in. I start trying to learn all the riffs that I thought up with while I was on vacation. And yeah, I when I go on an actual vacation, I take an actual vacation. I just get away from everything. Let's see. Greetings from Germany. Hey man, how do you doing? I fucking love Germany. I need to go back sometime very soon. Let's see. What is my preference in strap height? Variable. Depends on the guitar, depends on the setting that I'm playing it in. So, like, a few bands that I've played in, it's been something where I've played like a Gibson Explorer or a Fender Esquire, or even like some of the other stuff I've got here, like my Schecter C1 Exotic, my Washburn V, stuff like that. And in those instances, I would have the guitar set significantly lower here because it would be a little bit cooler looking, and also because I would get a little bit more power on like the chugs and the rhythm patterns, because in those band situations I used to be in, it was more of something where a little bit lead, a hell of a lot more of just heavy, chunky, and melodic rhythm. So, but now, I'm here at home. I like to occasionally record standing up. So I'll record usually with the guitar at about this height, maybe a little bit variable around there, just depending on the instrument and how my arm is resting up against it. But it's variable. It's variable. It's all about comfort in that moment. Let's see. Would I ever consider doing a review on the LTD Viper Baritone Black Metal? Or would that be silly because you already did the MH? No, it would not be silly. And the reason why is because, we would be attesting to the consistency of the brand a little bit. I would like, there's a reason why sometimes you go back and review similar instruments, and that is to check on the consistency of the brand, check to see if anything has improved, if anything's gotten worse. And that's part of the reason why you don't just, say, okay, this is the way it is and it will never change. Like, I'll give you guys for instance, Harley Benton. That very first Harley Benton 8-string that I ever bought was shit. It was garbage. It was terrible. But meanwhile, the next few Harley Bentons that I tried, like those Fusion models, were goddamn awesome. Fucking phenomenal guitars. So, it's all about checking the consistency. It's all about checking to see if certain instruments perform and behave a little bit differently. And in that respect, I think that Harley Benton Fusion models knocked it out of the park. So, like, re-reviewing another LTD black metal is not necessarily a bad idea at all. I would be totally down for it. If anyone knows anybody at ESP and LTD, hey guys, hit me up. Let's see. About the stream up. Nice dude. Sorry guys, I'm going through some of the comments here, looking for some questions that I want to answer. What are your favorite strings? Okay, so all right. Do you guys remember those NAMM questionnaire videos that I did where I kind of went around and talked to a bunch of different other YouTubers? And I asked everybody what is that gill? Wow, I can't talk. What is that gear-related hill that you are prepared to die upon? And my gear-related hill that I am prepared to die upon is that the guitar community as a whole gives way, way, way too much time and effort to comparing different string companies. I think that there's not nearly as much tonal difference as we all seem to think that there is. There is not nearly as much difference in durability as people talk about. Like, it's kind of funny. I hear people shit on Ernie Ball a lot. Like, oh, Ernie Ball, I put a set of strings on my guitar that was Ernie Ball and it just broke right away. Well, then you got a bad set. I've gotten a bad set of D'Addarios before. I've bought a bad set of Dunlops before, you know? And yeah, I've bought a bad set of Ernie Balls before. Occasionally, a string will just break because you play like a fucking madman and it'll break under the stress. You know, that's not a reason to just completely trash the brand. To me, like, I think it behooves us to go back and forth and try a bunch of different sets of strings, looking for those ones that are going to be better than the others, but we really need to test out all the different strings ourselves to see which ones feel the best, sound the best, and play the best. But my hill that I'm prepared to die on is that there's not nearly as much difference as everyone says that there is. Don't get me wrong, I would love it if someone were to hit me up and say, hey, Arnold, use our strings, we'll start sending you the strings. That way you don't need to buy strings anymore on your channel and, you know, put our logo up there or whatever. But man, I just, like, there's not really all that much difference. Now, that being said, when you do find something that does feel better, that does play better, that does sound better than everything else, then yeah, fucking latch onto it. Grab as many of those sets as possible, put them on all your instruments, fine, if it makes you happy. I do have a particular set of strings that I love, and that is the Ernie Ball M Steels. And god damn, I wish they would actually put them out in more gauges. I wish they would put them out for 7 and 8 string, because those are easily the single best strings that I've played up to this point. They're literally one of only maybe 3 sets of strings I've ever played in my entire life where I heard a noticeable, audible difference in the sound quality. I like how they feel, but to me they feel like just any other normal string. But those strings did have a different sort of brightness to them and loudness. So I love the Ernie Ball M Steels. That is my go-to if I had to pick a go-to. But goddamn, hey, Ernie Ball, please make the M Steels in 7 and 8 strings. I will very much happily buy them, and I will happily talk to everybody. Hey, you guys need to try these things out, because I love those strings and I really wish I could put them on everything. So sorry to go off on a tangent. You actually asked a hell of a good question, but I had a particular answer for it. Let's see. Oh, it was that one place. Cool, cool. This is a great question that Fred just asked. I know a lot of you guys have asked a lot of questions that I'm skipping. I'm going to go back and I'm going to check them out. But Fred Wadley just asked, question, do you think entry-level guitars will become better and cheaper over time, or are we living in the golden age of entry guitars? So I definitely have an opinion on entry guitars. My opinion is that we need to stop spending money on shitty gear. We need to stop putting money towards these cheap, junky, shoddily put together instruments And instead, we need to go to the pawn shops and repurpose all these instruments that people keep giving up. We need to give the instruments that already exist good homes. That way, number one, if those guitars are in rough shape, that's going to force the player to kind of adapt and learn on something that has maybe an issue or two, like how I had to do with my very first pawn shop Aria Pro XR series. It had a few issues to it that were something that you had to kind of get past a little bit. It's also going to be something that is going to teach the player maintenance about the instrument. You know, take it to a shop, see if you can find a tech who's willing to show you a handful of things here or there. I know I have found a handful of those techs in my time that, you know, like, I know it seems like this is something trivial that I'm bringing you the guitar for. Could I pay you for an hour of your time and you actually show me how to do this? You know, or for that matter, just use YouTube University and figure out how to do this. But, you know, pawn shop instruments, they get a bad rap. We need to start purchasing those for the children and the kids and or the hobbyists who are wanting to actually learn to play and actually pick up an instrument and see if they can play. You know, I think that is a far better route to go than just buying another cheap $150 instrument that is just going to get discarded at some point via Craigslist post. So that being said, there are some better entry-level instruments that are starting to come out. I would say shop around. I mentioned Harley Benton earlier with a different question. I'm going to mention it here again. Taking a look at the instruments that Thomann offers, since there's no middleman, you get a far better guitar for your money. So I would just go with that if you absolutely have to have a new guitar. But pawn shops, go to pawn shops. Try to find something that hasn't been bastardized and butchered by a previous owner and use that as an entry-level guitar. All right, let's see. Go back and check out some other questions here. I answered that. Favorite Cannibal Corpse album? Mine is Bloodthirst. Dude, I was right there with you for a long time. When Bloodthirst came out, that was fucking mind-blowing. Excuse me. But honestly, like, to me, an album like Kill has far surpassed it. I love Eric Rutan's production on Cannibal Corpse records. I love the songs that were on that record. I think that there was, it was kind of that nice, perfect point where, like, Paul was still playing tons of blast beats. The riffage was super fucking extreme on that record. But really, like, I don't think that there's, like, a bad Cannibal Corpse record. I mean, maybe there is. I just haven't really given it a lot of thought. But there's definitely, like every time I put on a Cannibal Corpse record, I know exactly what I'm in for and I know exactly what I'm getting. And that's why I put those records on. There's a handful of songs here or there, but maybe Kill is probably still my favorite record. Let's see. What up from Arkansas? Hey, how you doing? Let's see. Gonna compare the Hiwatt and DA50. Yes, that video is going to come. Once I get this fucking technical issues with my DAW sorted out. But yes, I am gonna do a comparison video because a few people have pointed out that it's very, very similar control layouts, but there are some noticeable differences between the Dover and the Hiwatt. Number one, like, the Dover doesn't have the foot switchable fourth gain stage. It has a foot switchable boost. And that boost, to me, is extremely Tube Screamer-esque voiced. And it pairs extremely well with the high gain that's already on tap with that amp. So to give you a brief room tone demonstration, that's that foot switchable boost that's on tap with the Dover, and sounds absolutely fucking incredible. I love the Dover. I am noticing some tonal variation between the high watt and the Dover. Oh, something else that the Dover has that the high watt does not have, that depth knob is a fucking godsend. That's what I've literally always wanted that high watt to have, and now I've got it on the Dover, and that is making a world of difference. That's the reason why the Dover is my new #1 amp, and why, hey guys, if you're at all interested, the high watt is for sale. Hit me up. Let's see. Arnold, let's have 30 seconds of brutal riff. Okay, do you want brutal riff or do you want evil riff? Because I've been writing a lot of evil riff right now. All right, let's have everybody weigh in right now, really quick. Brutal riff or evil riff? Brutal riff or evil riff? Come on, guys. Evil? We have a vote for evil. Evil? Evil? All right. You know what? It seems like it's overwhelmingly evil. So, all right, let's do this. All right, here we go. That's something that I'm working on for the black metal EP that I'm doing right now. All right. I see all the monitors behind you. Do you own a business? What are those for? No, this is just for me dicking around. I've got, okay, the computer that I'm currently streaming on is my studio iMac, and that's what I do all my music production, all my video production on. I've got the computer off to the left there is my old iMac, which used to be my music production desktop, which, by the way, the Guitar Center Special that you always see, that iMac that comes with a monitor, comes with an interface, comes with a cheap mic and cheap headphones, etc., is actually a really good option for getting into studio recording. That's how I got into it. And yeah, there were some problems. There were some hiccups here or there. Get one of those things, upgrade the RAM, and be fucking happy. It's actually a great jumping off point. But anyways, now that's just kind of my dicking around on the internet computer when I want to just like kind of dick around, check eBay, check Reverb, check my email, do whatever. That's the computer I use for that. The one on the right though, that is my gaming PC, which I had delusions of becoming a Twitch streamer and actually streaming like all my gaming experiences, but come to find out, number one, I'm a far better gamer on Xbox. Number two, I can never seem to hold true to a broadcast schedule. And number three, I just haven't really found all that many computer games that I can like really dive into and that can hold my attention. Honestly, the only thing I keep using that thing for is I just play Age of Mythology over and over and over again. Someday I'll get tired of it. Someday I'll get into some other stuff. But let's see. Let's do a couple other questions and then we're going to call it. Let's see. Joel asked a great question. I recently ordered the Grindstein. Will it work good in front of my EVH 5153? I want it as a separate channel, chainsaw riffs. So I have not experimented yet with the 4-cable method for the Grindstein, but I'm just going to kind of paraphrase what I've read on the Clearton website and also from Christian Cola's videos on it. It is not meant to go in front of an amp. You put it in the effects return, you crank the presence knob, and that is how you get the tone through the amp. Now, that being said, there is a 4-cable method that allows you to bypass the... Let me actually grab the pedal. All right. As you can see, there's 4 jacks on the top. There is an effects return. The reason why that return exists is because it can bypass the preamp that's on board the Grindstein. So using the 4-cable method, you can cut this out and instead put in the preamp of your amp. But you have to do it a certain way, which I have not even dove into yet, so I'm not going to comment on how to do it. I would just say, look it up, and I know there's a way. Let's see. Let's see. MonkeyShredder.music is my solace. Just asked, your opinion on Jet City amplification? And then he also asked, your opinion on Jet City amplification? And now he just asked again, your opinion on Jet City amplification? So, my opinion on Jet City amplification is that I've heard good things. I've actually never plugged into one. So, I know there's some sort of Soldano connection there, but I've actually never plugged into one. You know who you should talk to, though, would be David Fuller. David Fuller is a guy that I always hang out with and him, and he's a really good dude. He has at least one Jet City amplification head, and I think he's modded it even too. He would definitely be the person that you should ask about that. Let's see. I am going to answer one last question, and it's going to be this. It's going to be this question right here, which this is hilarious, but I'm going to answer it anyway. Powell asks, tits or ass? I am married to a Brazilian, so I'm going to say ass. And with that, thank you guys so very much for tuning into this live stream. And I love you guys. Hopefully I can get my technical issues done with and fixed so that I can get back to actually recording this EP that I've been working on. It was sounding so goddamn amazing before everything went to shit. So hopefully I can get it all fixed. But yeah, dude, yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Remember, like this, subscribe to this channel. There's lots more metal guitar oriented content to come. And remember, take what you do seriously, but do not take yourself seriously.